Hey everybody, it's Brandon and Cave. Good morning. How are you? I love
Good. I'm going to turn this light off.
I love that you are all coordinated with the background. This makes me very happy. I expect no less, by the way.
Yeah, that's one of our backing fabrics.
I love your backing fabrics.
Oh, good.
And
Good.
I love the feel of them.
Mm,
And I use them for dressmaking.
Great.
wonderful.
Now listen, interviewed you in trousers. I made out your backing fabrics.
That's right. You did.
Cool.
You did.
Yeah.
And did you see the show that was in London at the Fashion and Textile Museum?
No, I saw highlights, but I didn't get to go. I was mid-move.
Right. Well, one of the things that we did there was to cover the walls with Enchanted, and it was magical. Absolutely wonderful with the backing fabric.
I know.
So
fabrics are gorgeous.
Tell me, do the children respond the same way as you do to color and pattern?
Yes, I remember Emily when she must have only been. She can't have been any more than 3, not even 3. And one of your collections arrived, and because this was, we were still we hadn't got the warehouse at that point, and her and Freddie unpacked it, and they both were oohing and ahhing over it, and Freddie looked at me and said, oh, these guys like nature, don't they, mummy? And they do, they gravitate to it. I mean, with these cushions that we are in my home today, I am in Cornwall. This is my sofa. All I did was bump my pillows up a bit. So these are the colors that they are used to being around, and they just love them. They make dens out of them and all sorts. And it's just, this is their norm. Color is their norm. And it's your color that they have as their norm. They love it.
Great. Now I'm intrigued by the cushion that's over your shoulder with the black background. Was that a fabric collage you did?
It's an applique. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well done.
Wonderful.
Isn't that beautiful?
Very exciting.
Many an hour with a few fat quarters.
Yeah.
Cutting out and making a bouquet, because like I love flowers, but if I buy them in the shops, they're dead in a week. It makes me very sad. But these are everlasting bouquets. Love it. So yeah, we have one of those on each of our dining room chairs, each with a different contrast, because all of my chairs are different colors, so they each have a different color thing on.
It's a very good choice, and they're so exciting against that black background.
But this is what your fabrics do. It's there are so many ways to use them, and that is the really beautiful thing about it. And it's just gorgeous. It's a joy and a gift every time you bring out a new collection.
Yeah, it's funny because I'm looking at our carpet on the floor, which is from Chechnya, and it's got this black background and these very vivid flowers against it. It's very similar.
Is that one with the lady on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tiptoeing through the wildlife. You know, she's standing on her garden in her little high-heeled shoes.
As you do. Practical. I like that.
Tash, I have to say I'm freaking out because the camera's so close to us, and it's making Kate and I look so uneven in height. But I just read statistics. Putin is my height. So is Macron. Macron is my height, so I'm keeping good company. Where Kate is the same height as Trump. So,
with much better hair. I'm just going to throw it out there.
You can imagine what they look like in person. So Putin and Macron are like just like me. Yeah.
Do you remember the Yellow Pages advert many years ago, where there was that short boy that wanted to kiss the tall girl, and he had to stand on the Yellow Pages?
I don't realize my height until I go into a bar, and then I'm like, okay.
Yeah, but that's in my head. Personality.
In my head, I'm 6'3", and so
You know, I had a Dutch friend come to see me from Holland, and I said, I told him about a place that he should go to, and I said, just look it up in the phone book. And he said, in the golden pages. Isn't that wonderful?
I don't know if they even exist anymore, do they? I don't
No,
know.
I don't think so.
No.
I don't think
No.
so.
I mean, how time has changed in our lifetime in the last 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
To think about how technology is just all encompassed our attention span. And when we used to go to a telephone box with 2 pences to make, I can remember when I first met Kate, and I had to go around the corner to try and phone him and putting in 2 pences, 5 pences, and 10 pences to expand the call.
And now Pence is the prime minister. No, I mean vice president.
Vice president,
running for president.
Well,
so listen, are we going to talk about this book?
Yeah. We are. So your book is based in Hastings, and you have a home there.
That's right.
I want to say, was it a converted dance school?
Yes, it was.
I
It was.
don't know where I got that from.
Well, you're one of the very few people that knows that. It's called the Villa, and it had this wonderful big wooden floor, and quite a big, living room, and they used that for a dance classes.
I mean,
the
house was built in 1836.
Amazing.
So it's old, but
Yeah.
it has the living room is 30-foot long, and it just has extraordinary light. It's hell to heat in the winter, but and then we've decorated throughout, like Kate's mural. The end of one room just expands as if you're looking over a lake in the Lake District.
I'm giggling because, Kaffe, you haven't had the most amount of luck with your murals in other people's homes.
No, very true.
Well, yeah.
It's a good job you've got one in your own.
Yes, exactly. I have to paint my own in my own space to keep it and not have it painted over by some irate customer.
I shouldn't laugh, but it does make me giggle. And if it's cold to heat, you just need a few quilts, right? I mean, if you had
quilts,
a couple
that's right.
around the place.
We put it in an arbor, which
Perfect.
Yeah.
Which makes the most expensive toast in the world, but it's worth
exactly.
Yeah.
And I paid the bill. So, but Hastings itself, for those who haven't been there, it's where Foyle's War was filmed. There's several pockets to it. The old town is part of the British history, but it's very picturesque, and it's still a working port.
And that's where we shot our latest book.
Yeah.
Called the Sea.
Good old Debbie Patterson at it again with her fabulous photography.
Oh, fabulous! Yeah, what would we do without Debbie?
Well, you've got to
I think I love the back shot, which I think you'd appeal to you too. Very
my favorite color. Perfect.
Yeah,
there we go.
My favorite photo in there is you as a mermaid.
Oh yes.
And Kaffe's look, it just your expression, Kaffe, just makes me laugh so much.
I know.
Oh.
It just tells the whole story.
It's like Punch and Judy. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. But that's what you get at Hastings. I love Hastings because it's towards the end of the railway line. So it's been one of the quieter holiday destinations because it's not so accessible from London. You come down Victoria, down through Lewis, along that line, and Hastings is one of the last ones on the train.
And that wonderful atmosphere of these beautiful little beach huts. And because it's unspoiled, it wasn't like Brighton sort of taken over by hordes of tourists that made it successful. So it's kind of left to its own devices. And so it's full of artists and quirky people and wonderful, wonderful color. So it was a great backdrop.
Because there's that weathered look of it as well, which is just fabulous. And the black wood that you get just along on the pebbly beach, and you get where the actual proper fishermen doing actual proper fishing happens.
It's where they hang the nets to dry, and that's what those black sheds are.
Yeah.
And they're black because they painted with tar to weather against the salt. We're finding the picture in the book.
Well, there's it's very close up, but that's, you know, those black wonderful witches towers are behind, and yeah, it's exciting to go and see those. But the old weathered boats on the seashore are so wonderful. That's what we love, isn't it?
They're fabulous.
Healing and faded by the sun and bashed by the salt and the wind.
But you always find these. Do you remember your Quilts in America book where you found that battered barn and the person was like, "Oh, we're having it painted next year." Like, no.
Yeah.
We want it as it is. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I love the weathered look, and look at that wonderful brick wall, you know, with this quilt on it. So that it's very, very antique sort of setting for. We found the right color combination for every quilt in the book, and that's what was so exciting. Like, look at these brown huts, you know, for this beautiful, rich browns and reds and oranges.
Well, partly is that we go and do a recce. Once we've thought of the location, we go there, stoke it out, and then we see what color possibilities there are, then come back and design a quilt that will work with that location, hopefully. It's a little bit like living by the seat of your pants, but yeah.
And because there's so many artists, you get that wonderful, this little background painted like the Alhambra tiles, and perfect for our crazy cushions.
Oh, just fabulous. Oh, there's your brollies in that one, Brandon.
Yeah.
Gosh, it looks so different done like that.
Yeah.
Like starbursts. Wow.
That's a great project for you to do online, Tash, because it's a small project, but it's very easy to put together quite complicated fabrics.
I reckon I might have a little bit of brollies left. I'm going to have a rummage, see what I can find.
And then, you know, when we had the dark quilt, we had found this wonderful blue house with orange, you know, boys hanging from it. Absolutely wonderful.
Now, see, you say boys, but I thought in America they call them buoys.
Oh,
I don't know.
Who knows? In America, everything is pronounced weirdly.
I just thought I might ask an American, see if he knew.
Yeah.
But that's okay. It's all good. So this is the new book. We've got this on the website. It's out there. It's released. The release always comes with Festival of Quilts, doesn't it? That's the release.
Yeah. And my favorite, Tash, is fabulous. The greens. You know, that I took a red quilt and made it all shades of green, and I'm so happy with how it turned out.
As you should be. As you should be.
Dash, one of the things that's unique about this book, it's our 25th edition of the Patchwork and Quilting series. And so what we based the book on was taking one quilt structure from each of the books we've done through the years. Can't believe I'm that old. And we've taken that structure, put in new fabrics, updated. So some people say, well, I've done a hexagon, or I've done this, or I've done that. You haven't done it with these colors. I mean, it's basically a recipe to be able to add new flavors into.
And this is the beautiful thing, because what we get asked an awful lot is, can we see it in a different color? And color changes everything. So to have the masters of color go, hey, try it like this, is absolutely perfect. And then for any of you that have never tried these books before, it's like a book of two halves. You get the coffee table, beautiful photography, and all of the quilts shown off in the most exquisite way for the first half. And then in the back half, you've got all of the recipes, you've got the ingredients, you have listed out always exactly which fabrics with the codes and everything to search for, so that you can get exactly the right ones that you need for you. And that's all in there, which is absolutely perfect. So we love your books because they're useful. It's William Morris would approve, right? Function and form. It's there.
Yeah. Thank you. I love William. You know,
Well,
I kind of think he'd love you too.
Well, this quilt on it's not great color, but this quilt on the cover is great one for anybody starting out, because it's basically squares and rectangles, but it's ombre shading with the color, and I think this is just an absolute classic. It's as if it's like a faded carpet.
What I love about these is that they are not difficult quilts. So for those people that love getting fabric and chopping it up into minuscule pieces and sewing back together, yes, you can use any of your fabrics. But a lot of people get worried about the size and the scale, and I don't know how to use it. But these are simple, they are effective, and they allow the fabrics to shine. And that's the really beautiful thing about it.
When I design a quilt, I go through the old quilt books, the old vintage quilts, and I look for ones that use bigger pieces of fabric so that I can show off my prints without chopping them up too much. I mean, they're fine chopped up, but it's nice to be able to show them in their glory.
But wasn't this
big flower
where you started? Wasn't this why you started? Because you couldn't find those big antique prints like you used to see. So you just make my own.
Quite exactly. I mean, I looked at those wonderful. A lot of the English quilts when I first arrived here were done with furnishing fabrics, I think, because they were big scale fabrics in those.
Yeah.
Those
well, you know, the way we started this journey was going out to India and working with poverty-stricken villages, and we had them weave up a series of stripes, and they still.
Let me get back. We're recording again. Where were we? Because my it really helps when you plug your computer in if you turn the plug on. That's my learn.
We didn't have our plug on.
No, me.
Oh. Well, I think we were just talking about this quilt, because when we did it, we shot this quilt, the original colorway, when we did a book in Great Dixter, which is a fantastic garden in East Sussex, and we were like, oh no, that quilt's not going to sell. It's designed by Mary Mashuta and her sister Roberta Horton, and it was a runaway success. And I think this one is going to be the big one.
The ombre is stunning. But I tell you what, we just started talking about, and that was the work that you did in India when you first started designing your quilt fabric. And I don't know how many people know this, but this was with your wovens, wasn't it?
That's right. Yeah.
Oxfam.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, they were wonderful weavers in the jungles of India, and they were weaving on these little stick looms, these beautiful fabrics. And I just sent them a big piece of knitting with lots of different stripes on it and said, just do me some weaving that looks like this knitting. And they did. Absolutely beautiful.
So, Kaffe, what is the one kind of rule when trying to color match your fabrics? Would it be possibly not to do it under artificial light?
Yes, that's a very good one.
Very good, because
so when you arrive in India,
that when I pick out the colors for those bloody weavers, it turned out that we had to do it under electric light in the middle of the night because it had taken so long to get to the
over 3 hours to get there.
Yeah, for this one place that they had in this whole
it was strip
area
lighting
of India where they had this horrible lighting. Anyway, but I had this kind of instinct that thought, when I see these in the sunlight, I'm sure they'll be all right somehow. And they were, thank God.
They were more than all right, because you took them to the Houston quilt market and won. So
yes,
I'd take that as a win.
For the first and last time in history, we won Best Stand in Houston. And the owner of the whole shebang came around on her little trolley car and said to us, "You don't know what a big deal this is, you guys." Of course, it was our first time at market, so we had no idea what it was like to win first prize.
But you did. And so this latest collection that we've just launched, and it has flown. It has gone crazy. The first ones to sell out were actually your Roman glass and your lake blossoms.
Isn't that interesting?
First ones to go, yeah.
isn't it funny that Roman glass is the very first fabric I ever designed? You know, went to the Victoria Albert Museum and saw these beautiful old Roman fragments of glass with beautiful little candies in it, I call them. And I sat down and I painted that out. And that was our first design. And it's still a big seller for us in the market, which is so exciting because I love recoloring it and using it all the time. And this new coloring is beautiful, isn't it? A very soft gray. Have I got it here?
We've got a soft gray. We had a black as well, which was a contrast.
Oh yeah, the black background one is gorgeous.
They both absolutely flew.
Good. Well,
and Brandon, your zebra.
I'll start to show you some other things.
Go on.
Yeah, here these lovely big packages we have of putting all the fabrics together. So here we've got hyacinths, which I love. Let's go a little close and see that. And Brandon's wonderful zebra lily, gorgeous, big, strong, with these bold kind of Roman stripes behind there. And then I always love big blooms on a background so that you can cut them out and use them the way you have on your cushions.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the big rhododendrons.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, and then bringing back lake blooms. But what I love about rhododendrons, I plucked those out of Philip's collections. There's the original colorway.
Fabulous.
And I just love them. They're so big and voluptuous. And because they're totally big scale, it forces you to use bigger pieces of fabric.
Okay, but didn't you put the color in the background?
I did.
It's unlike Philip to come.
Yeah.
Usually he arrives with the background. It's just a neutral color.
Yeah, usually a beige.
And then if I just lift up the skirt, you'll see what it looks like in a big.
Yeah, what the whole fabric is.
Yeah. It's just exquisite. And the beautiful thing is that Philip designs these big blooms, but he trusts you with the color work. And that still blows my mind that an artist is okay with letting another artist work with the color of their own print. But that is the relationship that you two have, which is just...
You could call it bloody grateful he is that I do. Because he does not like to do colorways.
No.
But he's so wonderful at painting the original artwork.
But he knows a man that can. So it all works.
Yeah. And there's two of Brandon's lovely things. This is very, very exciting to use. I mean, they're both wonderful. I've used them as borders, as cornerstones on big borders and things like that. I mean, it's very, very
I made a bag out of the zebra lily last week, and it just
wonderful.
Just
yes, I saw that. It was absolutely beautiful. This is really fun. The little gingham.
These are an unsung hero. I love these, the gingham.
And I did this as all over the background of a quilt that I've just done, and used it in between all the colorful painterly fabrics, and it's wonderful. It's just so classic.
There's such a lovely mix in this collection. You've got those gorgeous big blooms, but you've also got, now you see, I rather like the oriental,
the Asian circle
here, the Asian circles. They are just beautiful.
Yeah.
And they are, you can use them in so many ways. You can use them as blenders, you can use them as a standalone, or you can use them as a big piece in its own right. And then the Sailor Valentine. I keep getting confused and calling it
the Sailor Valentine.
That's a rum.
And wasn't that fun in just a delicate colorway?
Just
that
stunning.
Doesn't scare horses. And then
scare horses.
All I love doing these lovely soft pastels because I get in a very soft pastel mood very often, and so I want things that aren't too strong or too contrasty. So I'm hoping that a lot of English quilters will get into this palette.
It's always so popular. So I'm going to say yes, they do. Certainly in terms of what sells for us, these fly. They absolutely fly.
And there's the Roman glass.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in that kind of pearly colorway.
I am going to have to see if I can reorder some of these because they've gone. They've gone.
Yes, well, we believe in reordering. And there's Roman glass black.
Yep.
Very, very stylish. I think I love playing with this. And then Brandon's gingham in that wonderful dark color.
Now you see, it's a different tape on spots and stripes, isn't it? When you put those two
Yeah.
next to each other, it's like, oh yeah, spots and
Yeah.
stripes. That works
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah. And then Lake Blossoms
Yep.
with a really strange struck by lightning colorway.
And
then
like a
this is,
night scope.
yeah, moonlit. And then this is a really, really strong Sailor's Valentine coloring.
Just beautiful.
And of course, and Brandon's absolutely wild lily with the black and gray.
I love it. And then the paisley. I love a paisley. I was so happy to see a paisley as well.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It's so powerful with all those spots and dots.
But how beautiful to see it next to the Philip one above.
Yeah.
The name of which completely escaped.
Tropical water lilies. Tropical water
lilies. And just I hadn't twigged those two together, but they look fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Lots of contrast, sharpness. When you're feeling extrovert, which we have our days. And then of course there's always the red hot mamas.
Ah, gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Yeah. And they're a winner every time.
Yeah. And I love this one. This take on the sort of brassica,
the kale.
A new cabbage design. But look at how wonderful that is with Brandon's lilies in pink and with a blue and white.
Well, this is just it. And actually, I matched the blue and white of that one with a denim the other day, which just looked gorgeous.
Yeah. I love the coolness of that against the hot pink. I think it's exciting. And then, the Sailor's Valentine in kind of really husky, rich oranges with a touch of lavender.
Just brilliant.
Yeah.
Now, this is saying that the meeting is going to end in a minute because it gives us 45 minutes, which is very rude.
All right, so we show one more.
Yeah, go for it. And if it cuts out, I'll call you back.
All right. And these are, sort of dark colorways. Rhododendrons looking amazing.
Yeah.
So we're recording now.
I know. Do you know what? For anybody watching this has been an interview in 3 parts because my battery ran out because the kids flicked the plug off. Brilliant. And then Zoom went, no, you've had your time. So if it's a little disjointed in parts, I'm having great fun. So thank you.
Good job the chicken isn't in the oven.
I know. You know what? That's just life, isn't it? That would be fun. All sorts of shenanigans going on. But it's just, I've had such a lovely time with you guys this morning that despite the technical challenges, technology generally hates me. I'm gonna strap this all together, sticky tape it, and send it out because I've just had such a giggle with you two. So thank you.
Good. Can I show you one more thing? This is Brandon's lovely blender prints called Reflections.
Oh,
I love this.
Betty.
I've had a shirt made of this dark one.
Amazing.
So this is a new design that Free Spirit have asked me to do as a blender. It's now in the classic range, as in it will stay in the range forever and more. And there's 18 different colors. Not the 18 different colors. Not.
And that's one way to use them as
fabulous
fans. Yeah.
and they're going down the retreat. They're called reflections.
So are these going to? So when we struggle to find a color that matches exactly, this is where we call on. We go, right,
Yeah.
we need
If you
these.
want something just a little, I mean, it's our fabrics are very active.
Yes.
They're not shy. And so sometimes you need a little softness around them to highlight them.
A little breathing space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how many different colors are in each one?
There's quite a few shades actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're quite complex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you look at that, the amazing colors in there. He was looking at old rusty things from the beach and so forth for these colorings.
Also, the inspiration came from looking at flintstone and also the bark on London plane trees.
Yeah.
Where it's like kind of camouflaged. Free Spirit asked me to do a blender that would kind of work between our busy fabrics because we hadn't got anything in our range like that. So I sat down with my paintbrush and started just doing blotches on the paper and then bringing those together but keeping the fabric quite tonal. So they're tonal colors. There are companies that are kind of trying to copy what I'm doing. They've done theirs on the computer and they don't look as hand painted as mine do. So I'm really trying to pick myself up here. But
this is what you have always brought us, because you do hand paint. All three of you hand paint. And this is it. There are lots of designers that work on computers, and that is a whole other art form. I couldn't do that. But I love the fact that you two went, and Philip as well works in gouache. You work in that in a proper painty paint, which I just love. And so you get that texture that just comes through in the fabrics. And I think you're right.
Yes, too. There's the creative flow happens better through the hand when it's doing something rather than just pushing buttons on a computer.
I'm rubbish at pushing buttons, as we have witnessed this morning. So I'm all about the paintbrush. Yeah, there's something really satisfying about paper and just making a mark on paper. It's just so satisfying.
Absolutely.
If you're a stationary person, then that pen and paper and painting, it's lovely. It's just fabulous. And to have that then transferred into fabric is just glorious, and that's what you bring us. I can see these working so beautifully, and can you imagine having them as bindings as well? So you've got to pick out all the tones that you've got and just and really frame everything created with your glorious fabrics.
Because a binding is a very, very small sliver of color, but if it's solid, it doesn't quite work, and if it's too busy, it doesn't work. So that his reflections are perfect, or a polka dot, something kind of simple and structured is very.
Well, this is where actually, Brandon, we've used like your streams that you've got on your shirt. That has always been really useful. You do have your Aboriginal dot as well, works really beautiful in a similar way.
And lately, his stripe, the straw stripe.
Straw stripe, it's fabulous.
Wonderful. Yes, a binding. It's just two colors, very hand painted, and it's wonderful.
It's the hand painted look that really gives it the little edge to it, because it's slightly offset, and it's not on purpose. It's really determined by the paint that's on the brush that forms the impression.
Can I put in a request?
The colors that come in it.
Absolutely, go for it.
Can I put in a request for more of the more colorways in the creased fabric that you did?
Oh, I love the crease. You know how that came about?
No.
I was doing the ironing, a very rare occasion that anything gets ironed in this house. And the shirt was all creased. And I thought, wait a minute, this is a fabric idea for a stripe. So I then just drew that out like it looked like a creased piece of fabric. Thank you very much for pick up on that task, because I did enjoy doing that. It was
I
great.
love that one. And the thing I really like about your non-straight stripes is that it took the fear out of having to sew a perfect straight line for me,
Yeah.
because
Thank
it
you.
didn't matter. And it just meant I relaxed with the fabrics. When I was learning it, I was like, oh, this is fine. No one's going to notice if I'm a bit wibbly wobbly myself. It's perfect. So,
Yeah.
and I doubt that was ever your intention, but for me,
But-
it was a real added bonus that it was like, right, so I've used them a lot. I love them because it's just perfect. Thank you very much. But they're all of those, and your polka dots, Cave, because I know you were never going to do polka dots, were you?
No, I wasn't. I thought everyone else was doing them, but it's so funny. You know, you suddenly realize, okay, there's where you can put fresh color combinations into the market, and it's been I've loved my polka dots, and I love using them. I'm doing a book now on like little cushions and small projects, and I'm using polka dots up the gigi. You know, really enjoying them.
It's just brilliant because the colors that you put together, it's always, you know, I mean, you guys are the masters of color. It's just always such a joy. And just looking that first blender of Brandon's that you showed me, and you're like, look at these dark colors, and I'm looking at your t-shirt going, well, it's going to work with that. It's kind of the same sort of colorways. It's just brilliant.
Exactly. And that's what color is all about. Is, you know, it's very interesting. We've just been working with prisoners and ex-prisoners who are finding their creative soul after all of the life they've been through. And one of the things they love is playing with patchwork or doing needlepoint. But with the patchwork, I sent them just all my offcuts and scraps. And they were going through these like they were jewels and putting them together and making these beautiful little patchworks.
But it's also choosing what colors appeal to them, which is very, very personal, rather than being told, do this, don't do that, blah, 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 and putting up boundaries. They were just
laughing.
Yeah.
When we first met, Brandon, you sent me a big box of your scraps, and it was such a treasured possession of ours. And my kids would spend, if ever they were driving me mad, I'd give them a box of your scraps, and they would spend hours going through
kids and prisoners. Yeah.
It was brilliant. And also me, like if ever I just needed to relax, I'd just sit there and have a little play, and it's just I found it.
I love it.
Yeah. And it's funny, isn't it? We buy great bundles of fabric, and yet there is a great joy in a bag of scraps. That is a happy accident of
it's why mosaic is such a thrill. And why so many cultures, you know, the person who can't paint or whatever, but wants to express themselves, and they take broken bits of china and start putting them together to decorate their house or a jug or something, and it's magic. It's magic. It thrills me when I find an old piece of mosaic in an antique shop. I just love it. You know.
Yeah, but to be fair, you guys go to car boots and get china and smash it up and create your own. So
but we also love scrubby quilts. I mean, you know,
quilts that look like mosaics.
Yeah. I mean, your mosaics did win one of the awards at the Chelsea Garden.
Chelsea Flash.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So you know you've got form with those as well.
Yeah, and Martha Stewart came to have a look at it, and someone said, "Who is that?" And I said, "That's the Queen of America."
Did she hear you say that?
No.
Oh, gentlemen, I've had such a lovely morning with you two. I know that you've got to get off. I'm not going to keep you all morning, although I would love to. But thank you so much.
We are taking our sewers. We've got 3 very special women that live in the Bristol area that sew our samples for us, and Debbie Patterson, our photographer, who we don't see near enough. We're taking, and our lovely new assistant called Dorothy. We're taking them all for lunch. So
fabulous!
Yeah.
Enjoy.
I forgot that we were doing that, so I'm thrilled. Yeah.
Having a little
Days.
studio outing.
Yeah.
It's everybody's birthday today and everybody's Christmas, and we're getting to have a bit of Tasha on the side.
Oh,
Well, you've lit us up with your beautiful room and your beautiful flowery cushions. I love it.
You do look a vision sitting there.
well, do you know what? You've enabled this, so that is the joy of it, and that's you light us up daily.
Gorgeous.
So thank you so much. It's so lovely to spend time with you both. Thank you so much. Go and enjoy your lunch.
All right.
And I have to say, Tash, lucky your audience having your infectious energy and a lovely smile. So thank you.
Oh no, thank you guys. I will hopefully see you very, very soon. Lots of love. Take care.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.